Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to share with you all my top 5 most spun vinyl records in my collection. Now, I've been collecting since 2016, so 8 years in the game, and my collection has grown now to a little over 500. So, I just wanted to share with you guys my most spun records in my collection. So I'm gonna go ahead and get straight into this. At number 1, easily, I had no problem trying to figure out which one was number 1. But this is definitely my number 1, most spun record I have in my collection. Anderson .Paak and No Worries, Anderson .Paak and Knowledge with No Worries. This is Yes Lord. In case you didn't know, this is just a standard black record right here. And without a doubt, this album has been spun to death on my record player. This album has been played to death in the headphones and also in my car. This dropped back in 2016, the same year I just happened to start collecting records. And I really do love this album a lot. It was just a great listen for me at the time. I just love the vibe of it. Of course, Knowledge is one of my favorite producers out there. He's a go-to for me when it comes to Bandcamp. And I really just enjoy this album a lot, man. I know that YLO's coming out very soon. I already have my pre-order for that. I don't know if it'll get as many spins as this album has gotten for me over the years, but I know that their follow-up album is going to be very, very good as well. So coming in at number 1, got No Worries with Yes Lord. Next up, we got, in my opinion, this artist's best album that he has released since. And that is Anderson .Paak with Malibu. This is also one of the first records that I've ever purchased when I first started collecting back in 2016. And like I said already, this, in my opinion, is Anderson .Paak's best album that he has made. I love everything about this, from the production to, his part as well, as far as the features also. I just think it's a really outstanding album. The beats on here are immaculate. He's immaculate, and it's a fantastic listen. Definitely one to listen to if you have not heard it. I know that recently there's been a record store re-release of this album where they dropped, this like orange spider, vinyl. I don't have that. I just have this standard black. I bought this years ago. Like I said, one of the first albums that I bought. But this is a great one. Definitely one to listen to if you haven't heard it. It's for sure a must listen. And who knows, maybe one day he'll top it. But next up at number 3, one of my favorite MCs ever, we got Blue. Blue with Her Favorite Color. Now, as you can see from the hype sticker up here, this is a VMP release. I bought this album 3 separate times. I don't have my OG copy no more. I gave that away to a friend of mine who was getting into vinyl records many years ago. I bought another one from, it doesn't really matter, but those 2 are gone. I have this one now. And this is a great album. Blue, like I said, is one of my favorite MCs. And this is just a very different album than what you would expect from a rap album. And it comes in a nice blue record. Looks very nice. Sounds great as well. And like I said, this is just a very different album than what you would expect from a rap album. The bars on here are good, but the production side is really what sold this to me. This is completely produced by Blue himself. And it's just very different. There's a lot of samples of, just different movies. I think, maybe a show or 2 if I'm not mistaken, but it's just a very different album. It's a great listen, and it's one that I like a lot. So definitely want to check out. I definitely recommend, you listen to it at least one time. It might be your taste, it might not be, but definitely give it a shot. Next up is the album I've talked about. Whoa, almost dropped something. Next up is the album that I've talked about a ton on here. We got Blue, MED, and Madlib with Bad Neighbor. Now, I love this album. I played this like crazy. I believe this dropped back in 2014, 15. I'm pretty sure it was 15. But I've heard this album like too many times. Of course, it's had a lot of spins on my record player, but it's had a lot of time also just, in my car, in the headphones. And this album just has everything that I personally want in a rap album. Just the production side is really doing it for me. Blue is one of my favorite MCs ever. MED is also amazing. I really like, his contributions as well. There's the record. Double LP. I do have 3 copies of this album. I have this one here, obviously. I also have the, what would you call it? Like, the deluxe edition, where it has the 2 additional songs. The anniversary edition is what it's called. With the 2 additional songs, I also have the instrumentals. I used to have my OG. I gave that one away to a friend. Part of me kind of regrets it because you can't find the OG no more, but it's okay. I still do have these, and this is just a great album. Definitely a must listen if you haven't heard it. Number 2, I've been hearing about it for a minute. I don't know if it's really real or just rumors or whatever the case may be, but number 2 needs to happen. It has to happen because I need it. Number 1 is still great, and it's going to hold me down until number 2 eventually comes out. So there you go. And last up, I had a hard time picking the last album that I wanted to put in this video. I was very close to grabbing Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly." I was very close to grabbing MF Doom's MF Doom and Madlib, Madvillainy. But I wanted to show Pinata. This definitely deserves a spot in my top 5 most spun records because yes, I have spun it a ton. This is my OG copy, and it's just a great album, man. I don't know anybody who listens to rap who hasn't heard this. It's very, very good. It's an album that still doesn't get boring to me as many times as I have heard it. Every single album in here I've heard a ton, and it still, sounds great to me. Many people, of course, were just blown away by how fire it was when it first dropped back in 2014. I hope I'm not getting that wrong. And I love this album, man. I just have the standard black one right here. I have multiple copies of this. I pretty much every album I've shown you, I have multiple copies of, almost every single one. But this is fire, man. Again, I don't know anyone who hasn't heard it, so there's not much for me to really talk about since this is just a very well-known album, and for a very good reason. It's been repressed to death, though. I'm getting kind of tired of seeing all the new represses of this. But still an album to have. Great album right here. Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. Those are my top 5 guys. Appreciate y'all for watching. Also, let me know, what your top 5 albums are, your top 5 records that you spun on your turntable. But appreciate y'all, man. Until next time.